AskReddit. What was your most memorable Minecraft world? Back when Minecraft started, 1.3 when they added beds, I was playing with a group of friends on a server where we each made a small city with our base in it, and a minecart system, to travel from one place to another. That server wasn't our, but we never saw anyone else on it, not even the owner. Spent a few years on it, until the owner of the server privatized it. Friend owned and ran the second largest survival server in Australia at the time, AskReddit, on which I was a mod. Each mod had their own town which players could join, or they could create their own, if they had 4 other players willing to join them. I had a large desert town called Zalora which had some pretty skilled builders living there, and they made it look fantastic. This was until the owner and other mod decided to declare war on Zalora. At this point sandstone had just been added in, and was quite strong. So I made like Trump and built a wall. It looked pretty short of those builders. We defended Zalora hard right up, until the update came that made sandstone break super easily. At this point Zalora was ransacked, and my town became a group of guerrilla fighters who led a stealth mission into the owner's town, built a series of strategically placed tunnels, and blew the place sky high. When I was younger, I used to play Minecraft on the console with my mom and sisters. We had one world on creative where we would build. My mom loved building. She especially loved lapis ore, and would go on creative and build houses and pools. I remember when she built a massive hotel made of wool, with each room furnished with pictures and beds. Each layer was a different color. It was Rainbow Hotel. She once took an entire mountain, hollowed it out, and covered it with gold blocks. It was completely empty inside, aside from torches. We named the world after it the Golden Mountain. Then we loaded up a survival world and her chest got blown up by a creeper. She hasn't played since. My son was young, and he and his friends did challenges together, where they'd make superheroes, like large ass statues. They were actually surprisingly good. He'd show them to me from time to time, and I always thought they were cool. So one day, Gwenpool is there, but she'd been there a while. Cool. Except I see something weird around her crotch area. I ask him. He doesn't know. So we go over and there is now one block of glass at that area, and we see a pig moving around inside her. I break the block by accident. I swear I don't know how you aren't destroying everything you built when you play that game. Or I'm just crusty and old. Anyways, I do that, and the pig falls out, and then tons of animals start coming out. My son says, I didn't know she was pregnant before. My fucking server world. My mate and me had our own public server. We had over 40 active player. Everything was built in survival mode without mods and shit. The community was awesome. Now, I recently discovered a fucking fan-made trailer for my old server. The nostalgia hit me like a truck. And I don't have the world file anymore. Makes me seriously mad. Our high school class sponsored one of our friends to set up and manage one. It was a good time to come home and log on to Minecraft just to build and explore with friends. A friend of mine made one called Cheesing, and it wasn't defined by crazy complex buildings, but rather by dozens of entirely self-sufficient and safe rest stops. Most of the paths were marked by simple 2-block high cobblestone with torches, usually just under the draw distance limit on his computer. This world was fucking massive. The only effective way to travel between some areas he built was through the nether, and in some cases you'd have to travel for over an hour in real time to get anywhere. There were a few impressive structures. My friend preferred to work with the shape of the land and available local resources. It's amazing what you can do when working part-time. I didn't name it, so Minecraft named it itself. Fred. All lowercase. Mind you, this was an early pocket edition, when I was about 7 to 8, so the most valuable thing I had was a hotel made of dirt. I had chickens in the basement and chests, because the chickens liked them, and would stick their faces in them. This world was very special to me, though I only had iron tools. I always played on peaceful back then, because I was terrified of mobs. PTSD after a spider one-hit killed me once I worked up the courage to actually attack it. Glitch. Anyway, the hotel was a 2-story square dirt house in a snowy biome next to a frozen pond. I have no idea why that world was so special to me. I played on it every chance I could. Unfortunately, I was forced to delete it when an update rendered it unplayable. Tweaked the settings until I got a massive mushroom biome peninsula as my spawn solely because I liked the color of the grass when it grew. Took days. With how much work I put into it, I really should have saved it all somewhere. This was back in the good old days when the height limit was hard coded in, rather than being a variable that you set at the server level. You could use mods to edit it, but by default, it was like 64 meters up or something. My roommate and a few friends, and I had a server we were all sharing, just locally hosted. It didn't need to be very robust, considering it never had more than about 5 people in it. One day, looking around, I decided that what this world really needed was a dome. But not just any dome. Oh no. This was going to be a maximum height dome, stretching from the ground all the way to the height cap. So I looked up a voxel design for a sphere, calculated how big across a 64 high dome would be, and started leveling and clearing the ground. Then I started putting down stone blocks, following the plan, and building the dome. Of course this thing was massive, and I ran out of stone in like half an hour, but my friends decided to give me their massive stacks of stone that they'd gotten from digging out tunnels underground. And this continued for a good 2 or 3 weeks, with me spending most of my time building this crazy dome and them doing normal Minecraft things. Naturally it took a long time at first, since I had to lay out the full perimeter, but slowly, over time, the dome started getting bigger. One day we noticed it was actually starting to blot out our maps. Then it got tall enough that you could see it at a distance, through the trees. And it didn't stop. I didn't stop. It kept getting taller and started to curve inwards. Now it was getting dark underneath that dome, with huge twilight areas shaded by the dome's wall. Finally, it was almost complete and only needed 2 tiles to complete it. We decided to complete the dome with a little ritual and built an altar underneath the apex of it. 2 of my friends were down there, with myself and the server admin at the top. Pop down some lava, use a water bucket to harden it, and cap off the dome. Then teleport down to our friends to watch as the lava stream poured itself over the altar. Our sacrificial chicken ran away. Well, the lava spread out a lot more than we anticipated and ended up killing one of my friends. This was also around when we discovered that the completed dome blocked sunlight completely, causing creepers, zombies, and spiders to spawn inside it. I don't think any of us survived the christening of that dome, to be quite honest, and we could never go back into it. Things spawned so readily in that darkness that it simply wasn't safe. We ended up sealing my dome of nightmares shut and moving on to other things, leaving this maximum height immensity blotting out the horizon. I don't play, but my 6-year-old daughter discovered that as you feed shrimp to cheetahs in the game, they turn into house cats. So she went around domesticating cheetahs and built them a giant cat condo community to play on. She really likes cats. Back in this box 360 Minecraft with the fixed world sizes, I honestly have no idea if current console Minecrafts have the same limitations. I had a world that was filled with castles of various designs, from demonic to Scottish to typical medieval, complete with a large mining system connecting all of the castles via a rail system, which also supplied all of the material for said castles. I've only really played one survival world since beta 1. The world is mangled and weird now from all the terrain changes, but I still like it. Notably, about 100 foot or so from my house is a tumor that glitched itself into existence. It's a large clump of random blocks that spews water and lava. There's even command blocks in there. I actually still have it on my old tablet. I tried making a city. There was a house, apartment building, jail, restaurants and some sort of sidewalk connecting everything. I spent like a week on that app. It's a shady memory, but I had one where I was building a massive castle. I spent hours just trying to build one of the walls. I added some smaller houses, and when the horse update came I added a stable. But because of the horse update, 1.7 I believe, our computer almost could not play Minecraft. When my dad then changed the computer parts I forgot to copy over my files. So yeah, I lost him. I created a roller coaster when I was 11. It went through every biome and ended in a castle. I found the world on an old SSD and I almost cried. I left myself a note at the end which I didn't remember. Be happy, be a horny / depressed teen. Now that was the most wholesome part of my day. I tried the Galacticraft mod and spawned literally right next to a fallen meteor. Now, when I say meteor, I mean a huge hunk of fallen sky rock that has left a massive crater. Oh, and there was a freaking ravine underneath it that was only partially visible from above. I put up a wall around the crater and dug my base into the sides. The ravine became my mine. I also mined all but the base of the meteor and used it as the launch area for my rockets. There was a massive mountain and a smaller one next to it, and me and a friend over the course of a year filled every bit of the inside and underneath them to bedrock with an intricate, well-decorated hive of rooms. A bridge ran from peak to peak, a castle on each. Massive forts. My friend rage quitted one day when the owner asked to join the clan. I tried to explain, the owner can do whatever he wants anyways, but nope. The guy was just too odd for reason. That was it. He was done in an instant.